Hello everybody, Tim Knight here, and what we're going to do this weekend, we're not going to do the exhaustive, I think we looked at 64 different charts last weekend. We're not going to do that this time. We're going to focus just on my live positions, and the reason for this is that, sort of ipso facto, these are what I consider the most promising bearish opportunities. And instead of 64, there's 27 of them. I couldn't think of a clever rhyme for 27, so oh well. But we're gonna do about 5 or 6 each video over the course of 5 videos. And everyone's gonna have access to all 5 videos this time. And like that. So, and I'm also going to say a little more about each one because we have a more reasonable quantity to deal with. So in alphabetical order, I hereby present my 27 bearish positions. Before I get to that, as I sometimes do with these, I just want to say something general. Here's the VIX going back 4 years. And as you can plainly see, and 4 years feels about 500-600 years ago, I realize that. A lot has changed since then. I saw a director, our own beloved director, put a link to a video of a guy who was in a coma since 2001. Can you imagine explaining Earth to that guy now? Yeah, like, okay, got a lot of catching up to do. Here we go. So we don't have it that bad. This is just 4 years, and this is the VIX. And the ultimate bottom on this, and it seems hard to believe, 8.56. There it is, 8.56 back on around Thanksgiving of 2017. And that is just as low as it got. And since then, over those 4 years, it has been generally in, not really an uptrend, but the base has been in an uptrend. We've experienced a series of higher lows. And, even without the trend, like you can kind of see this one and this one and then this one. And of course, this whole thing is COVID. But even with COVID, once everything's settled down, trillions of dollars of stimulus later, where do we get? Another higher low and another higher low. So take heart, bearish people, because long term, that means that fear is starting to slowly creep into the system. Now, another interesting thing that's happened lately is this, which was only last week. And for the first time in eons, we actually got to this level. It's the highest level we've seen since, way back here. Let me see. This is Jan 2021. So is that it? Let me see. I'm going to zoom in on that real quick. Jan 2021. So the highest we've been in about 10, 11 months. So it was a nice little spike there. And we had been, I was talking here about the higher lows. Over here, we'd been a steady series of lower highs, which is, good for the bulls, obviously. And that just kept grinding away right up to here. This was the most recent. In other words, the highest we got back in September wasn't even 30. Didn't even manage to get it up to 30. So something has changed. This is different. This broke this series of lower highs. And zooming in more tightly, we've got this little pattern going on here. And the other thing I find kind of exciting is, as miserable as this week was for the bears, we have definitely pounded out the froth and the fear and the terror and all that stuff. Look where we are. We're back like, at the depths of Thanksgiving. There was no Omicron and everything was cool and copacetic. We're back down to this zone, which tends to be a fairly reliable base for the VIX. My point being that it is obviously vastly more likely that we can get strength in the VIX in the weeks to come than even just a week ago. When you're at 35, you're probably not going to go much higher. So it makes sense that we've lost literally half of that within a span of days. So this is a better region to be. I'll also say one last thing. I'm recording all these on Friday. And for me, ending Friday with fatter profits, and meaningfully fatter too, fatter profits than I began with a pure short portfolio on a day that everything went up. That feels pretty good. The ES and the NQ, just, Apple's approaching $3 trillion market cap, just green, green, green all over the place. And in spite of that, it got a nice fat bump in profits. Now, they're not as big as they were like 7 days ago, but that's okay because I didn't expect them to stay, up at this level. So anyway, trying to add a little note of optimism here. Since I've done this huge preamble, I'm actually, what we're going to do? Just a few symbols. I'll just go through we'll get through the A's. That's 5 of them. We'll just knock those off. Here we go. So Agilent, symbol A. And in each of these cases, you'll see the whole chart first, and I'll just zoom in. So there's what we're working with. Now, the ultimate stop on this would be up here, which is disturbingly far away. I probably am too wimpy to hold on that long. But that is the real, all hope is lost type gap. And in this case, we'd want to see a break of support. So in almost all these charts, you're going to see a meaningful, this isn't going to work level. And then you're going to see a, hey, things are going great level down here. Alcoa, AA. Now we've already broken this uptrend, which is pretty sweet. And we have this nice dome pattern right here. Now we sort of teased it a bit. We got a little bit below here. So let's be more conservative. We will drag this down and demand that a failure would need to break the lows of last week as well, which is kind of a shame, but that is the fact. So this is kind of the dome that we're looking at right now. Advanced Micro Devices. Now I took profits on some of this. I'm just trying to keep, this was a very nice one. I'm trying to keep my positions fairly even in terms of size, but there's still an opportunity for more downside here. And this was up 0.13% on a day when the NASDAQ was up like 10 times that much percentage-wise, and Apple was up 30 times that much percentage-wise. So that's a pretty weak showing, which is what I want to see. Apache, APA. Pretty sloppy chart, recognize that. But for this, key for me, stay under 27.97. That's a key price gap I want to stay beneath. And the last one, a new one, American Express. This one was actually down for the day. You can see from this very long-term chart, which goes back to the 70s, like Richard Nixon time here. We are light years above the long-term trend line for obvious reasons, because it's it's a bank basically, and there's nothing more supported by our government than the banks. But I've got a pretty nice little horizontal here as a guide, 170.54, and that in that instance will be my my stop loss. There's a lot of air beneath it, and let's just see how this goes. Let's try this. Where's the anchor point? That's pretty good. Let's do this. A little more conservative. Let's put this here and drag this. That actually worked out rather nicely. Yeah, and we'll unextend this to the left because we don't need that thing just flying all over Mars. So there we go. Improve that chart a little bit, and that's American Express. Okay, that's it for video number 1. I am sure the others will be shorter than this one.